So welcome Debanga and Sachin for the session. And we are already live in YouTube. So we will just start the session directly. Okay. Uh, so first of all, welcome to all the participants who have joined the webinar, and a special welcome to Professor Debanga Neog and Mr. Sachin. Thank you so much for taking out time and joining us in today's session, and rather starting our whole conclave. So this is the first session of the Northeastern Conclave, and we're very glad that you both of you have given us your time for the topic, which is into the world of artificial intelligence, data science, cybersecurity, and ethical hacking. So first, let me quickly introduce you what is this initiative all about, and then we will start our interaction and we'll start the session. So I, on behalf of Advancing Northeast, I would like to again welcome all of you. Advancing Northeast is a one-stop career and livelihood platform, which is designed for the students of Northeast, for the youths of Northeast. In Advancing Northeast portal, we have three segments. One is education, another is employment, and the third is entrepreneurship. And via this portal, we want to reach out to as many youth as possible and give them information and resources, and help them connect with the mentors and industry experts like yourself, so that they can understand and make an informed decision in the career. This portal was inaugurated by Honorable President of India on 4th of May in Guwahati, and it is being supported by Donor Ministry and Northeastern Council, and it was developed by NetFree. So this is a brief about the portal. Many students are joining us from different parts of Northeast, and we will be recording this video. We're already recording this video, and we will be also keeping this video as a resource because we're trying to build a digital resource center, and we'll keep it as a resource for the students so that they can see it and they can refer it later as well. Dear students, again, welcome all of you, dear students and youths and parents and teachers who have joined from different parts of Northeast. Welcome all, and thank you for joining the platform, joining the session. So today in the session, we have two special guests with us. First, I would like to introduce Professor Dr. Debanga Neog. Debanga Neog is currently an assistant professor in Mehta Family School of Data Science and Artificial Intelligence in IIT Guwahati. He has done his BTech from IIT Guwahati and has done his PhD from University of British Columbia, Canada. Thank you, Debanga for being present here today, and we're looking forward to hear from you for the work and I want to understand careers related to data science and artificial intelligence. Thank you, Debanga.
Thank you.
We have Mr. Sachin Dedhia, who is a founder and CEO of Skynet Secure Solutions. He's an international independent consultant, and he's working with national as well as international organizations in the area of cybersecurity, ethical hacking, cybercrime investigations, digital forensics, and many other things. We have gone through your profile, and it was really overwhelming to see the kind of thing you're doing. Again, thank you so much, Sachin, for taking out your time. And we would like to know more about into the field of ethical hacking and cybersecurity from you. So the reason why we took this topic was because when we were interacting and we were taking this platform to different students in Northeast, we realized that there is a lot of craze, or there is a lot of curiosity when it comes to these two fields, data science, AI, and ethical hacking and cybersecurity. So we would like to know more about it. And as mentioned to you, that this session is mainly designed for school and college youth students and youth from the region, so that anyone who wants to aspire, want to understand this field, they get an first-hand idea from the experts who are already have already made a mark in the field. So it will be a very candid session, let's try to keep it as simple as possible, and I'm sure the students who are present, any question that we are already watching the sessions in YouTube and the other platforms that you're using currently. Please put your questions, and we will take up the questions from those chats. We have a team who will help us, and we will ask these questions to the experts present in today's session. So with no further delay, let's start, and let's start the session. I have given a very brief introduction of both the speakers, but I would like to hear, and we would like to know more about what are you doing currently. So we would like to first start with Professor Debanga Neog. Sir, Debanga, can you please share us, like, what are you doing currently, and what is your current role, and how's your day? What are your current roles and responsibility that you're doing, and what are the things that you're doing currently?
Thank you, Nish. So I'm currently an assistant professor at IIT Guwahati. Actually, I'm part of this Meta Family School of Data Science and AI. So it's a new school. It started actually last year, but the school is one of the very few programs that IITs have that is entirely focusing on data science and AI. And before actually delving into importance of data science and AI in these days, just quickly, as Dinesh asked, quickly tell you what I am doing here every day. As an assistant professor, I have roles like teaching. I teach courses related to data science and AI. Also to my actually research area in mostly, for example, when I was doing my PhDs in computer vision and computer graphics. So these are my topics very close to my heart. So my research will be centered around that, but on top of that, how can I use data science and AI, in those areas? Apart from that, of course, I'm doing research in different projects. We have different projects, different grants. So we are solving some very interesting problems. Many of them are actually related to Northeast, because in Northeast we have so many opportunities. Whether you talk about agriculture, education, or calamities like flood, how can we use data science and AI in those things? So those kind of projects we are submitting and then started working on those. And also we have a lot of collaborations that we are doing with different institutes in India and as well as from abroad. So all these activities, teaching, research, and also a lot of some management activities that we have to do as a new school. So I'm also involved in that. So this kind of the whole day goes in this kind of thing. So we have to divide all these tasks, right? And now I'm pretty excited actually to be part of this new school, because data science and AI is one of the most hot topics, and also career wise, everyone is like now these days trying to kind of at least understand what is data science and AI, and how can we actually career wise they can also use some of the data science and AI's tools maybe in their work, and as well as maybe they're switching their careers. And of course the newcomers, like the new graduates, they are looking for job activities, new jobs, and what kind of research that they can do if they are in the research area. So I think data science and AI are kind of it's an area that is very ripe. In the sense that in every field you can think of, they can use data science and AI in some way, because as the data is the new oil, everywhere, whether you Google search, whether you are saving something in your phone, in your iCloud, maybe somehow it is in the cloud, right? So it's the data. Some of the data is public, some of it's not, and of course this when we'll be talking maybe about the ethical hacking and all those things, so we have to also be careful about privacy and security of the data. That is also will come, but my area is not in that, but my area is mostly in AI and data science. Just briefly, I want to give an idea about what is data science and what is AI, how they're different, because many of them may be thinking both are kind of similar, right? So data science is something that, as I told you, that data is everywhere. We're creating data, we're consuming data in every activities, because we are going digital. So we are either using our mobile phone, laptops, and even the devices that we use at home, now they are connected to internet, like IoT devices, right? Cameras, CCTV cameras, maybe you're storing in the cloud, and all those things are happening. So there are a lot of data, and then many times, whether it's a project of that where we're trying to solve some problem, maybe sponsored by government, by industry, or like some businesses. So they have some problems, they have some data, but since they have so much data, they want to figure out that what we can find out of this data. So what is that technology, what is that skill set is required. So that's where the importance comes in, because now a lot of the important decisions can be taken based on the data we have, right? But finding out that information, finding out that insight, and in fact predicting what would happen in future. So for that we need some kind of tool, and that tool is data science, where you can do analysis, you can do some kind of predictive analysis also. What basically you can think of what we can learn from the past and how we can predict based on what we have learned in the past. So these two activities kind of encompasses the data science field, right? We have data, we have to visualize, we have to analyze, and this is the main activities. And if you talk about AI is not exactly similar with data science, because AI is finding out intelligent algorithms, very smart algorithms that can do a lot of activities that we human can easily do, but machines, it is not very straightforward for machines to do. In fact, can machines do something more smartly or more efficiently than how humans do? So finding those algorithms is finding the artificial intelligence in different areas, like for example computer vision. That means you have cameras are collecting data. Can we find a car when we have a camera in the street? Can we find a number plate? Can we find the speeding car? NLP, language processing. I'm talking some speech. Can we translate that speech in real time to other languages? So all this technology will come in artificial intelligence. So I think these two areas are some prominent area, and then there are a lot of opportunities in these areas. So maybe in future questions we'll be able to answer more details on this.
So thank you so much. I think it was very beautifully explained. Many students often get confused with what is data science and AI, and they feel that they are exactly the same, or they use it for as a synonymous words. But I think it's very nice that at the start of the talk itself, you have explained very beautifully what data science is and what AI is all about, and how, one very important takeaway is that data science and AI are not only limited to the field of computer science. You're using this as a tool, and you're using it in education, in, as you said, agriculture, predicting floods, or maybe in for business, for financial modeling and all. So it's very interesting to see how the different application of the field is when it comes to data science and AI. So now let's come to Sachin. Sachin, can you please briefly introduce what are you doing? Because you've been doing a lot of interesting stuff. And can you also tell us more about the field of ethical hacking and cybersecurity?
Right, sure. What we do is basically we try to. Yeah.
Can you be a bit more audible?
Now is it clear?
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
basically, what we do is we try to safeguard networks, applications, securities, and everything like that. But one of the first things that I would like to say is that the kind of certifications that we get is in this domain is we are called as certified ethical hackers. Like you said, ethical hacking. So we are called as ethical hackers. And this is like one of the only professions in the entire world where we have to use the word ethical before we can say we are a hacker. Like I don't see any other profession ever going to come and tell me that
very interesting.
Or an ethical CA or ethical doctor, but like imagine, you going to become an ethical hacker and some uncle and some auntie will come and ask you, "Ke beta kya kaam karte ho? What work you do?" And you just for fun sake end up answering, "Ke bhaiya main to hacker hu," or "I'm an ethical hacker also." Just use the word ethical before saying that you're a hacker, and you see the kind of impression that you're going to create. So basically, it's like we would be remembered. What I would like to say is that we will be remembered, but I don't know whether for good or for bad. Like, what kind of impressions we create, we don't know, but it's that we will be creating some kind of impressions. Okay. And see the kind of domain that we are working in, I feel that cybersecurity is going to be a part of every domain. So if we visualize the future somewhere, I would feel that robots will walk, drones will fly, electric cars will come, with data science and AI being a part of all these technologies and everything like that. What I've learned is so far that somebody will develop this, somebody will develop the robot, somebody will develop the drone, somebody will maintain it, somebody will create all these things. But at the end, they will come to an ethical hacker and ask him, "Okay, boss, can you secure this or not? Like, can I make the robot safe to go in the public? Can I make the drone go fly over there itself? Can I make the electric car come out in the public or not?" Right. So we are a part of every domain, but we are going to be the last in the domain. We have to understand that we will be the last in every domain. Okay. First will come the development, then will come the maintenance, then will come the security part of it. So in India, security is always going to be a laid back attitude. It's going to be last, not only in India, but everywhere else itself. But it is going to be a part. So what we do is we safeguard. So somebody has developed like the camera systems, like, Professor Sir was also talking about. Well, we have to then look into it, whether somebody can steal that kind of data or not. What about my privacy? What about this thing? So please understand, data science, AI would come first, and then our security would come into that. First, somebody has to function. Somebody has to, develop that things. Then security will be, see, it depends, it is going to be a part, but it is there. So Android applications have been developed, first developed, then maintained. And then of course they will come and say about secure, like, that kind of a thing. Okay. But part of every domain. And if you're going to be coming into our domain, you need to be a little bit aggressive mind, like little bit of a curious minded, little bit of an aggressive mind. because it's like, I'm not going to ask you to become a creative mind. Creative mind is somewhere where you create, develop ideas and visualize and everything like that. I want here to be little bit, as somebody has written 100 lines of code. Well, are you good enough to break that 100 lines of code or not? Can you find bugs in that? So if you are very good at finding loopholes, finding bugs, something like that, well, this is the field for you.
Okay. Sachin, sorry to interrupt. Like, I think we have some users commenting that your sound is not audible.
Okay, sorry. Now is it clear?
Yeah.
Better now?
Better.
Yeah, is it better? Okay,
it's like it's audible to me, but maybe like your sound is.
Yeah, okay.
Who is there now? Yeah.
Okay. Now is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear. Yeah, it's clear. Thank you, Sachin. Now coming back to like what you mentioned, like I think it's again a very interesting perspective that security will come only when you have something to secure. So that's why you're saying you need to build something, develop something, and then we will come to the security wala part, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, what can you just briefly explain us like what is ethical hacking all about? Because I think there's a lot of confusion in terms of hacking and ethical hacking, but also in terms of understanding what is ethical hacking, right? So can you just take us into that and help us understand what is ethical hacking?
So ethical hacking is, see, the knowledge which we are going to give or anybody is going to take in this domain is going to be learning how to attack. Okay, learning how to break into systems, learning how to break into applications, learning how to break into networks and everything like that. Basically, they're just trying to learn to find loopholes or vulnerabilities. Okay. Now, once you have taken the knowledge, it is up to the person whether he remains a hacker or he becomes an ethical hacker. This is, I'm very been upfront. Okay. Like he can use the knowledge and he can, it's like I'm going to sell a knife, use the knife to cut vegetables, make beautiful salads, or use the same knife to go and kill someone. Okay. Your knowledge is going to remain the same. How will you use that knowledge? Now in ethical hacking, we actually take permissions from the company. Company will come and appoint us. So there are so many big firms, there are so many banks, there are so many MNCs who will come to us and then say, okay, Sachin, I have a website with a payment gateway. I have a website with database behind it. Okay, I have a big network of 100 people. I have my Wi-Fi, I have my emails, I have my applications. Boss, sign an NDA, that is a non-disclosure agreement. Okay, show us that you're qualified, show us that you're certified. Okay, and you're good enough to test all my networks. So that is where I come officially on board with the company and I do all the work of what a hacker would do generally, but I am doing it from within the company, or let's say I'm taking the permission of the company or for the company, basically. So that is the main difference between hacking and ethical hacking. Like, so a hacker would obviously not take any permission. He would just go and randomly take up any website of the company, begin to scan the website without permission. And trust me, to all the youngsters, if you do that just for fun sake also, now by law, it could be punishable. And especially control your emotions on government related websites. Okay, so I know they're very prone. I mean, they're very, very easy to hack. They're very like susceptible to hacking also. But I would really, because we see that few youngsters get carried away and they'll say, look, I was able to get the database. Look, I was able to. So they say, oh, that's easy. Let's try something like that.
Yes.
So trying and experimenting on other fields is okay. But trying and experimenting in the cybersecurity field, there is a big disclaimer to that particular.
Yeah. So there is a boundary in which you have to play the game.
Yes.
So you cannot go outside the.
Yeah, you can't just see something on YouTube and begin to experiment on, let's say, on our websites or even our neighboring country websites or something like that. So that's something that I'll just ask the youngsters to control over there. You can try all the other domains, but not this domain.
Not this one. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, coming back to Professor Debanga. So now we also wanted to understand like the field of AI and data science, like if a student, like what are the different educational background, or what are the different pathways, or what are the skills that are required to, if someone who is interested to pursue this particular career of data science and artificial intelligence, what are the possible pathways? Can you just take us to that, all the possibilities or whatever possibilities come to your mind?
Yes, sure. So I think before even talking about that, I just want to briefly tell you, like, if you think of data science or AI, you can think of it is it has like three pillars. You can think of, one is mathematics. Okay, there are a lot of mathematical tools that you are required to understand before jumping into data science.
This will upset a lot of people.
Yes. I mean,
it's good that you highlighted it. I had this as a question: is maths important? And you started with maths as one of the.
Yeah, it is because data science, when you're learning in the beginning, maybe you can use some tools to do some simple examples that you found online and this. But later, when actually we're diving deeper, then to really analyze the data, mathematics, lot of mathematical tools will become very handy. So you don't require a PhD in mathematics. I'm not talking about that. Just basics, because I know many people that without even basics they try to go, but which will backfire you, and you will not be able to go farther. So whatever you learned up till your maybe your 12th.
Okay.
So,
up till 12 maths is recommended.
You can get start, and then as you learn in using different courses and all those things, you will figure out what additional tools are required, right? So those tools we can learn on the way. So mathematics is one. And second thing will be it is important is the computer science background. I mean, not necessarily you have to have a degree in computer science. I'm talking about programming in general. Like for example, you want to do data science, maybe you have to use Python, you have to use R, or maybe if you're working in the production level, you also need some C++. So learning programming is also important, which go hand in hand. Mathematical tools, programming, these two are important. And then the third pillar comes, which is not necessarily that you have to have, but I'll tell you why it is required. But first, let's see what the third pillar is: the domain knowledge. Because when you are trying to solve a problem, you first have to understand the problem, okay? And then you have to figure out what are the requirements, rather than just jumping into it, right? For example, typically you have to understand the data science workflow. Here you have to find out the problem. Once you know the problem, you have to collect the data, then you have to clean the data. Once you clean the data, then you think about what modeling I have to do. Once you've done the model, you have to test it rigorously, and after that, how can you deploy the data, maybe so that someone can consume the model for some useful purposes. And then maybe cybersecurity and all those things will also come, because you have to safeguard your data, right? Mathematics, programming, and domain knowledge. So again, one important thing is here is that you don't have to have all those three together. Mathematics and programming you must have, but domain knowledge maybe someone else can provide, right? So typically when you're if you see a data science team in a company, they will have multiple people working in different aspects of it. Not that one person will do everything, right? So for example, if you're dealing with a problem, for example, how to increase the production of agriculture, some rice in Assam, for example. So then you have to talk to some experts in agriculture, right? They will tell you, this is the production rate, these are the factors that affects the agriculture of like for example production of rice, maybe the flood, irrigation, and all those things. You might not have that knowledge because you are just programmer. You know the mathematics, you know some data science tools. So then you work collaboratively with them, right? So teamwork, that is another important thing. It will come up because you cannot work isolated. Once you are solving a real world problem, you have to work in the team, right? So these are the basic fundamental kind of skills required. But again, then one important thing is where they will learn those, right? So for example, not necessarily when you are doing undergrad you will learn all these topics, because maybe you are doing undergrad in chemical engineering, right? But then you want to dive into data science or AI, but then you think, I didn't learn data science topics during my course. But that doesn't mean you cannot do. That's what I want to tell. In this particular example, one of the greatest asset you have the domain knowledge about your field. And the programming and mathematics you can pick up because you are from engineering. You need to spend some time. Of course, you have to do hard work, but you can acquire them, right? So you see that there is always a scope of learning it. So if you are not able to learn in your course, then there are so many resources out there, right, these days. Take an online course. You have Coursera, for example. There's so many machine learning courses and data science courses, AI courses are there. Be proactive. Take take those courses. And again, then you might be thinking, there's so many courses, how to pick them? Yes, ask an expert. You'll tell you. You don't have to do 100 courses. Do just 3 courses. You'll brush up your programming. It will brush up your ML. Maybe give you introductory data science skills required. The domain knowledge. If you're looking, for example, maybe you are interested in using some drug discovery. I'm just saying an example. Then you can take a course on that, and you talk to some expert on that. So that is one thing. The second thing is that there are a lot of hackathons and there are a lot of programming contests, right? One website that I really like is called Kaggle, kaggle.com. Okay, so there you will find a lot of data science competitions. And I have been, kind of active in a way that, I was working, but in the meantime, every day I spend 1 hour or something like in Kaggle I was active for like 2 years. So I kind of learned something from that, is that a lot of people are so afraid to, even open an account and do some basic programming contest, because they think, I don't know, I don't have the background. But what I want to say that just jump in. Okay, maybe you don't have a background, just look at they share a lot of shared notebooks, shared programs, they have. Just read them, try out. In the beginning, maybe for 3-4 months, you will not be able to really create something. But after that, it's like jump in and learn. It's like there's nothing that you will first learn all the theory and then only you can jump in. Okay, so those competitions, the website that provide you the opportunity to compete, so those are very useful because they'll give you hands-on experience, right? And then maybe you can do some projects. Find out, maybe you're doing internship. Okay, then find out some data science project that maybe you want to do. Then find out some companies, find out some universities where they are taking internships. They are taking interns. So in that case, you can join this project and you can learn a lot. Maybe you are doing very small component of it, because if you're, say, in third year, but at least it will give you the exposure that what these actually people are doing, how these other members are doing. It will give you motivation and resources. So that is one way. And then finally, these days you can actually do full-time data science courses. Like in IIT Guwahati has this full BTech in data science in AI. So those kind of opportunities are also there, because now people are seeing that why not actually run a full-fledged course rather than here and there picking things. We, in our course, for example, we kind of focus on the theory and also hands-on. We focus on developing mathematics, computer programming, and also domain knowledge we give from from bioscience, civil, mechanical. So we bring all these faculties and work on it. So these kind of different approaches are there. That's what I want to say. Share.
Okay. So basically, what we understand is that there are 3 pillars in if someone wants to explore career in data science and AI, and there are different pathways. Like one can do an undergrad in, like as you said, BTech in data science or computer science, data science or AI, and the other is they can also have their domain expertise, and after that, after that graduation, they can still jump to this field of data science and AI.
Yeah,
right?
so different resources are there. Online you can find out. Yes.
So we have just put up the website that you mentioned, www.kaggle.com.
Yes.
So we have put that in our YouTube streaming as a comment so that students can actually look into that website. And the other website you mentioned was from Coursera or Udemy or edX. People can do different courses. If you don't mind, we would love if you can just share us 3-4 good courses, and we will put it as a post in our portal so that
I'll share
those courses. I think what better expert than you to help us understand, and I'm sure we are getting a lot of comments around it where students are saying, can you please mention us which coding languages or which coding courses would be a good head start. So Debanga will request you to please give us that maybe after the session, and we'll put it here.
Definitely, I will do that. Yeah.
Okay. Now coming back to Sachin, if someone wants to become an ethical hacker or wants to work in cybersecurity, what are the different ways and what are the skills and different route by which they can pursue this field? Can you please take us with that?
See, what I would say is that it does not matter him to be a commerce or a science background. Okay, in order to become an ethical hacker or a cybersecurity this thing, but it is preferred, I would say, I'm using the word preferred if he's coming from a computer science background or an information technology background. Okay, because their programming and networking becomes easier. Okay, and it's easier to grasp. Okay, so what I would say is that what I always feel is from the youngsters, if you're having 3 years of engineering course, okay, I would just request that you just do one small basic or intermediate level of course from any Cybrary. We have a Cybrary, CYBRAY, Cybrary websites, or that courses. Okay, so do one basic course, okay, or do one small foundation course from any one of the local running institutes. Okay, get an idea about the cybersecurity domain. Okay, it's like becoming an MBBS doctor. Okay, because in our cybersecurity domain there are advanced courses. Okay, so advanced courses in the form of penetration testing or advanced courses in the form of digital forensics, either of the two. So once it's like you become a doctor, you want to become a heart surgeon or a brain surgeon. Okay, so what I always tell all the students, engineering students, is do one course. Okay, spend some time into that course. So work on some projects, do some small internships, decide whether that domain is a cup of tea or not. Okay, so what I would request is within 3 years, do one course, basic course, get an idea about that course, do some projects. So then you decide whether you want to become a advanced penetration tester or advanced ethical hacker, or you want to become into cybercrime investigations or digital forensics, So we have two aspects after in this domain itself. There is malware analysis, but in my domain, you have to be constantly updated. In the sense, right now I'm testing networks, right now I'm testing websites, right now I'm testing Android applications and iPhone applications, everything like that. But slowly the cloud domain is coming up. So world is moving on to cloud. I'm pretty much sure that AI applications would come up. So I will have to learn something about AI. I have to learn something about robotics. Otherwise, I'll not be able to secure robots, right? So
Right.
ours is an constantly evolving domain. So it's like in our domain, if you come and then you say, okay, I'll be relaxed in 5 years, I'll just do websites and application. Well, trust me, you will be outdated within 5 years itself. So you will have to learn to understand, okay, what is the next upcoming thing, which is the next domain which is coming up, information technology. Whether cybersecurity would be a part of it, yes. So will I need to learn a part of that domain? Yes. So I can do the security aspect of that particular domain. So it does not matter if you're coming from a commerce or from a science background. Okay,
Okay.
but commerce would have to do a little bit more, because we have seen that commerce students are very good when you are doing digital forensics or crime investigations, and there's a
Okay.
fintech, financials combined with technology. So debit what comes in, credit what goes on, combined with TCP/IP protocols. Trust me, it's a dangerous knowledge that you can combine together. So our field is open basically, but I always request that do a basic or intermediate course, spend some time, do some projects, because if you jump into advanced, then it's very difficult to come out of it, because you have spent some time into it, you have invested some money into it, because this is little bit costly in the sense, unfortunately or fortunately, everything is US based certifications in our domain. So when we go out, okay, when we go to any company, they will say, what kind of certifications you have. Well, I'm very upfrontly telling you, it does not matter whether I'm coming from Symbiosis, MIT University certificate or a Bombay University certificate, because there are tons of universities in India. Okay, but none of these universities have got a specialized cybersecurity certificate as such. Very sorry, as of now, I've not seen a university coming out and then telling you, look, I have got a cybersecurity certificate. So there are some in Chennai, there is UPS somewhere in Dehradun, Uttarakhand. Okay, and no doubt they are good also, but national level recognitions is still, like some government authority, some government regulators coming and telling you, okay boss, we accepting this certificate if you are doing our cybersecurity audit, like, so when we go to government and RBI says, okay, you do the security of a bank, I'll go and tell the RBI, how do you want me to certify? He said, take some US certificate. If you're qualified from the US, you're good enough to do the banking security. Okay, I hope you're getting me. So that is where the investment cost would be in case if you want to do any cybersecurity certifications. So right now also I have two colleagues of mine who are doing internship with me for almost a year now. They have worked with me on income tax projects, digital forensics, crime investigations, and even penetration testings and everything like that. So if anybody has got any questions as to how the college life is all about when you're going to do the cybersecurity course, they can also revert back also. What do you have to go through if you are in college, especially if you are going to learn this course.
Okay. I was about to ask, like, I was about to talk to them as well, because they're participating in the work, in the talk, and I was just saying, like, I'm
Right,
only addressing to you. So welcome
right.
both of you as well, and welcome to this field of ethical hacking. And you are sitting with a mentor. I think I just wanted to highlight one particular thing, that this is what actually we're trying to do: connect the people who want to do with the people who are actually experts. So this frame actually speaks a lot about it. And I'm sure, Sachin, you would love to help students from Northeast who would like to be into the field of ethical hacking. I have a very interesting question for you, Sachin. That there's one student, Mainul Hussain. He wants to know that he's from art student. He's an art student. Will he be able to do this? Because you mentioned about science and commerce, but I think that's a very interesting question. He's from art student. Can he do ethical
Okay,
hacking?
my bad. I wanted to add. Okay, I'll add arts, commerce, or science. Be it from any stream, you can do it. But I would like to say that suppose an engineering student would spend 4 hours in learning cybersecurity, and arts or commerce science would request arts or commerce student would require 6 hours to do cybersecurity. But he can do it. All he needs to do is brush up his networking, brush up his programming, and then he will be at par with the IT or the computer science students basically. I'll tell you one advantage that arts or commerce students will have is something that they are good in their domain, which an IT would never be. It's something, but IT would always have programming and networking up, but here commerce would have something to do with finance. So if financial related technological companies would prefer to, let's take a financial background commerce student or something like that. So that is the kind of advantage as well as disadvantages. So but arts and commerce will have to also understand technology, like the concepts of IP, TCP, programming, the fundamentals, the loops and everything like that. So that should not be like, so yeah, you have to work hard, but this domain can be yours.
Yes, yeah. So the whole thing, like which Debanga also mentioned, that domain knowledge always helps, right? So in this case, also if they are from commerce or humanities background, their domain will help if you're working in a company which requires that basic domain knowledge, right? So, but then as you said that the foundation knowledge in programming and networks would be very, very helpful. Sachin, I often encounter this question: is maths important if you want to do ethical hacking? How important is mathematics for ethical hacking?
It is there, it is required. I mean, when we do advanced programming, when we do advanced algorithms, when we are trying to customize our own scripts, our own tools to do hacking or to do scripting or to do this thing, trust me, it is very much required, but it is required at some really good level. Okay, so I would like to say that basically it's not a necessity, but you will be doing really wonderful if you are having maths knowledge. Like, so you can develop, you can learn things much faster. You will be able to understand things much faster, because see, I'm just giving an example. Yeah, your mind is trained, like what Samketa and Jugal are trying to say, your mind gets trained. So if I'm going to work on data science project where somebody has implemented data science, obviously if I have the good knowledge of maths, I'll be able to grasp that concept much faster. That what exactly has developed, what is the coding gone behind that, what kind of programming, what kind of algorithms they have designed. Otherwise, if I like don't know maths, it was like, okay, something he has done, what magic show has done, you will not understand. And if he does not understand the magic what data science and artificial intelligence has done, I don't think he'll be able to do the security of it. Like, so sometimes it would become a necessity, but so, rest of the time I would still say when we're doing crime investigations or forensics, these are all tool based or analytical based, so maths would not be needed. Added advantage, I would like to see, if you do maths from right now itself, in the future it is going to be a requirement.
Okay. So now let's come to the last part of questions. Like, so we wanted to understand this data science from Debanga, from you first. Like, your domain, now many students have this perspective that it's all about computer science when it comes to data science or artificial intelligence or maybe ethical hacking and cybersecurity. You mentioned about the domain knowledge part, right? Now, can you just help us understand that what is the application of the data science and artificial intelligence for students who are not into computer science, but like, for example, we had a session with a scientist who is working in atmospheric and climate sciences, and he told that he's using data science every day in his modeling that he's doing for climate change and understanding climates, right? So we wanted to understand from you, Debanga, can you just take us with some different fields where data science and AI, I mean, broadly we know it's applicable to all the fields, but then take us some important or trending fields where you have seen personally that yes, there is a role of data science and AI in this particular field.
So data science can be used in any domain where there is some data out there and useful data, and then from that data some useful insights can be discovered. So for example, in businesses, say a company wants to predict sales, or maybe they want to figure out that what kind of products has to be, what is the demand of the product, what kind of products is in demand in different geographical location of the stores. Those kind of insights will really help. For example, in this example, in planning the supply chain, for example, or what kind of products they should manufacture more, those kind of insights, for example. So in for example, Amazon, they have a data science teams, right? Data science research. Why they're doing it? Walmart, why do they have it? Because they want to sell products, they want to figure out, understand the customers from the customers data, understand the business from the business data, so they have dedicated teams. So that is one area. In all the, for example, in any kind of businesses, not necessarily in e-commerce, in other businesses, I mean, I don't want to point out to any, like Any businesses that is online, these customers are logging in, they are providing some preferences, they are buying things, then those datas are logged, right? It's not like in old days. Everything is digital, you have the data, and there's always something to figure out. And one important thing is that I think you mentioned that what if you are not that strong in mathematics? Do they still can do data science? Right? So yes, because data science doesn't mean that you are developing AI models. That is AI. Yes, in AI you are developing models. Maybe for, as I said, for computer vision, for natural language processing, and so many areas. That is AI. But in data science, there are a lot of tools. You don't necessarily have to code all the time. There are a lot of business tools where you can use the libraries, use the models that is developed by someone else, right? You just have to pick them, and you just have to have some basic understanding. Okay, this model does this. These models will be suitable in this kind of data. That knowledge will be enough so that you can pick those tools, and then you can analyze the data, you can visualize the data. For example, you don't necessarily always have to predict the future. You can also summarize the data well. You have to tell the story. Okay, I got this data. What does data really have? What does it mean? You can put some plots and graphs. A lot of that is also a very important part of it, visualizing the data so that some other people can understand, summarizing the data, right? So that's why you can also see there's not only one role, the data scientists. There are data scientists, there's a data engineers, there are data architects, there are different roles. And what are the difference between these roles is that the kind of activities they do, kind of tasks they do. For example, data analyst might be just looking at the data and plotting and visualizing and giving some comments, finding insights out of it. Data scientists actually might have to actually go a bit deeper and use some AI tools. Maybe they have to predict something, then they have to have some more understanding about, maybe AI, machine learning. Then there are data architects, data engineers who are more worried about data warehousing, how to, what kind of data format they have to use, what is the workflow. For example, someone is working on the cloud data, right? Then how actually they can create this whole workflow from consuming that, getting the data, what kind of format they have to save, how to make it, deploy it so that someone can use it using AWS, for example. So there are different roles. So I think someone doesn't have to worry about that. I'm weak in this or that. There's always something they can do. So as we have already discussed, it's about trying it out. You try some projects, try some, go to the courses, learn something, and you'll automatically figure out what you want to do. Whether you actually, first of all, you have to figure out whether you really want to do it or not. Maybe you don't want to do it. Right. You do some project and you don't like it. It's totally fine. Your live data science is not the only thing. But it's a lucrative area because there's a lot of demand in it. But I think it's an interesting topic. Personally, I like it, and then that's why I'm in this area.
So thank you, Debanga. Sachin, same thing to you. Like we understood ethical. I think you mentioned a brief about it. You also mentioned about something around digital forensics and cyber security. So what are the different domains? In your talk, also you mentioned that everywhere where something is developed, cyber security will come in, right? Everywhere where you want something which is in cloud and you will want a security to have, right? You want a security. So can you just tell us that, like, what is this broad spectrum of the whole world of cyber security? Can you just pinpoint certain areas so that?
See, as of now, if I start with, it will begin to start with BFSI sector. So banking and financial sectors, it will generally start it because that is where the money is, right? I mean, everything is. It boils down to the money part itself, right? So what we do, they generally like to say is that, okay, first protect the money part. Okay, so when I start with a seminar, what would you like to protect? You say money. So even in terms of cybersecurity, it will start with banking industries. Okay, then it starts with anything related to financial industries, and it goes on, further. Then later it comes to let's say SCADA. It's like something to do with government related, which is coming online. So in our domain, there is something called as cyber war. Okay, so the First World War fought on land, Second World War was fought on land, water, and air. If there's going to be a third war, okay, so that would be nothing but sort of a cyber war itself. So when nations will be attacking other nations' security, so maybe power grids, electrical lines, everything that comes online would come under the radar of becoming, being targeted, especially from a company cybersecurity point of view. So when it comes to that level, of course, we have to protect the infrastructure of our nation itself. Later on, it will boil down to, let's say, our stock markets, so mutual fund industries and everything like that. Then there is insurance industries. So suddenly, slowly, the pharma sector in COVID, suddenly the pharma sector shot up. The healthcare industry really wanted to do the cybersecurity because of the research, the patents, and the COVID and everything. So they were having 10% of the whole budget. Now they shot up to 30, 40, 50%. Like really, the budget for cybersecurity shoots up, especially when the industry comes into limelight. Okay, and so will the hackers come into that. So they will go where the money is. So I'm just saying, that way. So as of now, there are many avenues which are open, and we don't know. See, I'm honestly telling you, we never know. The governments, I'm not talking about the Indian governments, but I'm talking about the governments of the world would actually be having a cyber army also. There's something called as a red teaming and a blue teaming kind of a thing, where you actually would be hired to protect the infrastructure of the nation also. So that could be one of the jobs, or you never know, you could actually be hired to go and attack the infrastructure of somebody's nation. So the options are open. So from banking industry and right now also to individuals, because see, every individual would also like to protect their own data, right?
Right.
I mean, so there are so many good clients who come and say, can you help me to protect my Wi-Fi, my email, my small laptop and my mobile? I'll pay you, don't worry. But I need to learn small security so that my data, my privacy, everything belongs to me, right?
Yeah.
So at least I take reasonable good care enough that I'm not so easy to attack or hack kind of a thing. So the spectrum is very big. But as of now, where the jobs are in banking industry, in financial related sectors, everything which is coming online, MNCs, so big multinational companies are going to hire as of now. Slowly, we feel the spectrum would increase a lot, but as of now, it is over here.
Okay, got it. We are running out of time, so we'll just conclude with one last question, and it would be like very short. Like you have to give it in very briefly. What is your message for someone who want to work in your field? So for Debanga, we would like to start with you. Any youngsters who want to work in your field, what are the skills and attitude that are required to actually excel in the field or grow better in that field in data science and AI?
Yeah, so I think what I would say is that you will have to develop a mindset, data-driven mindset.
Okay.
You have to be. That means you have to be curious to figure out, given some set of data, can I find out some insights out of it? And then second thing is, after all, you have to work hard, because this area is evolving so fast. So many new tools, new algorithms are coming. You have to keep track of new softwares are coming, right? So you have to be really active. You have to have this learning attitude all the time, right? So, and third, I will add that don't think that you just have to do it by yourself. There are a lot of experts out there. Seek their help.
Very nice. Thank you. And we would I'm sure like students can connect to you, and you would love to help them to basically progress in this particular field. So thank you, Debanga. We'll go to Sachin. Sachin, 2-3 pointers for someone who want to become an ethical hacker, work into cybersecurity.
Remain updated. That's one of the things. Yeah. If we don't remain updated in our domain, I mean, you never know when you will be outdated. So basically, you have to remain updated, new technologies, because that is where your scope is, that is where your growth would be, that is where your development would be. Okay, but in our domain, you have to be aggressive minded little bit. You have to think outside the box. Somebody has created something really beautiful creatively, but we have to find flaws into that. We have to find loopholes as to how somebody can break into that and take away all the hard work, basically. So something with a little bit of a curious mind or a little bit aggressive mind, but at the end of it, remain updated.
Okay. So thank you so much. I think it was very interesting. Pata hi nahi chala when this 1 hour went, 45 minutes went. So thank you so much. Students are really, I hope all of them have understood and have liked the session and have learned a lot about it. Thank you so much for taking out your time and spending this time for the youths of Northeast. We would like to be very grateful from the team, from Advancing Northeast team. Thank you for taking out the time, and we look forward for your contribution and your suggestions in terms of how can we reach out, how can we help students who want to pursue career in this particular field, how can they excel it. So thank you so much, Professor Debanga and Mr. Sachin, for taking out your time, and your interns who have very carefully listened to the entire thing, and thank you so much. And so we would like to conclude today's session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.